Yeah, we're good.
All right.
Take it away.
How's everybody doing? Good times? All right. So first and foremost, thank you for making sure that traffic's bad.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And well, again, thank you for this opportunity. Very excited today, and Sylvia has a lot of good things to announce. It's going to be first, and she's going to do it at HSPUG. It's going to be big. And again, thank you also for those that donated to Snowdrop Foundation. For those that haven't, if you could, again, we talk about social and collaboration. I mean, that's the truest form of social that we can do. Is we can help out other people, and I've been really fortunate and blessed in the industry we work in. So if you can, make sure you support the Snowdrop Foundation. All right, so we're very excited tonight with this idea. For folks sitting over there, feel free to come over here, cozy or one big family, to talk about this idea of how we lead the enterprise social revolution. And my name is Dux Raymond Sai. For those that haven't met, again, thank you. My name is Dux. And Sylvia, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thanks, Dux. First of all, thanks for inviting me to present with you. Thanks for giving me this opportunity. My name is Cyril Simeon. I am in the SharePoint marketing team based in Edmonton, and I work on user adoption for SharePoint. I do have a slight accent. I just guessed where I come from.
That's a heavy southern twang, right?
I do my best for you guys to follow. And thanks again for having us tonight.
And what's exciting about this is, in the last,
6 months.
6 months,
yeah.
This is all she's been working on. So, seriously, adoption. And she's going to unveil something tonight that's going to be big. And moving forward, that's what's going to, she's going to be focused on as well. So, the SharePoint team has heard the need around this, and again, you'll see what's coming up. So with that being said, let's go ahead and start the conversation here. So the title is, you want to lead this enterprise social revolution. I know there's a lot of buzz around enterprise social. And the challenge is, yeah, it's great, Docs. I mean, SharePoint is 11, 12 years old. But what? It's a big freaking file share. Yes? Yeah. Right? I mean, we spend a lot of time, money, blood, sweat, and tears and effort. Oh, we got to set up the right number of forms, put the right IA, set up different departments, different site templates. Here you go, users. Just like that, cricket. So how do we drive this adoption, but more importantly, sustainable adoption? You see, when we talk about revolution, it's not when it's going to happen. It's actually already here, right? When we talk about the enterprise social revolution, these 4 things actually are the clear signs that it's happening, whether we're ready or not. We like it or not. So for example, BYOD, bring your own device movement. I mean, if you think about your world personally and even in the enterprise, let me ask you this. Who's the first group that wants their iPad? No. Executives. And then they tell IT, make this work with AD. Right? How do you say no to the check writers? But that's the reality we live in. And apart from hardware, I mean, think about the business. Marketing, they need to get stuff done, and IT can't build their software. What do? They swipe their credit card, sign up for Basecamp, right? Or Salesforce, or that Google Apps, whatever that may be. But that's the reality of our world we live in. The other sign of this revolution is how fast things move, right? I mean, who would have imagined somebody putting out a video on YouTube in July 15, 2012, and 6 months later, is the most watched video on YouTube, and the guy made $8 million. Just on that YouTube video. I'm not sour graping here, but that's just a fact. Then we're in a day and age that we have to do more with less. IT's budget being cut, it's not really getting any better, but the business is expecting more. Cyril in the last few months has done a lot of research. You talked to a lot of customers, and I'm sure this is one of the core things that came up, right?
Yeah.
Doing more with less. And then last but not the least, we're in this age of social collaboration due to the pervasive growth of consumer social tools. It's here. And what do we do about it? You see, the problem is when we think social, and I talk to customers a lot, there's a lack of understanding of what it is. When I talk to CIOs, I work in the DC area, like, oh, we don't want that damn social. We don't want no pictures of cat in our intranet. Well, that's true in your consumer life. What we're talking about is taking a lot of the characteristic of consumer social and making it useful in our world. And that's why I love this definition of enterprise social from Gartner. So I want you to read it with me, all right? Let's do this. 1, 2, 3. Enterprise social is an important method for enhancing communication,
coordination, and collaboration for business purposes.
Did it say enterprise social is about news feeds? Did it say it's anything about likes or tags? You know, I was working with a customer a few months ago. They're actually more than a few months ago now. It's almost half a year ago. They said, hey, Dust, we're going to upgrade to 2013. You know, check, you know, see what we're doing. See what you think. You know, we're going to build site templates. We're going to put wikis. We're going to put news feeds. I go, whoa, whoa. Why? Just like you, it's very quiet. That makes me insecure as an immigrant to this country. That my English not good enough. So I asked another question. I would say, ¿por qué? What are you talking about, Dux? What? What's the wiki and newsfeed? Why do you want that? Isn't that the buzz, enterprise social? Okay, what does a wiki mean for Miss Sally in accounting who's processing invoices at the end of the month? Tell me. I don't know. What would the newsfeed do to Mr. Phillip on the oil rig who's checking equipment every day and making sure the equipment's working? Tell me. If you cannot answer those fundamental questions, and if you cannot prove that it's going to enhance business, communication, collaboration, coordination for business purposes, stop. We get so caught up on the whiz-bang, fancy tools and technology, SharePoint, Yammer, social, but we forget the basics of por qué. So here's a good video to show you how enterprise social can drive value.
History has taught us that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. That working together, we are able to accomplish more than we could ever accomplish on our own. That when great minds come together, anything is possible. So we are reinventing the way people work together. We are making it easier than ever before to share ideas, discover connections, ask questions, find answers. Stay in sync. Organize information. And build the team that takes an idea and makes it a reality. SharePoint, the new way to work together.
Who's seen this? So most of you haven't. You like that? Yeah. That's enterprise social right there. So Cyril will talk more about what Microsoft is doing and how they think about enterprise social.
But I think it's scary to talk after dogs. I'll do it. I think you know it. Like enterprise social is not about a specific feature. It's not about a newsfeed. It's not about a social network. It's not about Facebook and the enterprise. It's all about just connecting people, changing the way people work and collaborate together across boundaries, across countries, geographies. When you think about how social changed our personal life, how we communicate through Twitter, Facebook, Skype, to talk to each other. I don't see why, we don't see at Microsoft why social couldn't bring the same value in the enterprise. So social is not about posting pictures about my previous weekend, next holidays. It's all about talking, interacting to each other, and changing the way we collaborate and work together. Social is a huge bet for us at Microsoft. 1 year ago, we invested more than $1 billion in Yammer, a leader in enterprise social. We're working really closely with them to see how we can bring Yammer and SharePoint together to deliver the best-in-class social experience, but also across Office, Exchange, Link, integrated with Skype, all products, Dynamics, Windows, the entire Microsoft stack. This is really serious business for us.
Absolutely. And what's exciting about this, for example, this week at Worldwide Partner Conference, enterprise social is a very important theme that it's one of the 4 core pillars. I think Steve Ballmer during the keynote said it really well. He said, enterprise social is not a product. It's changing how we work for the better. Right?
Right.
Now,
it's all about behaviors.
Absolutely.
More than features.
Now, I mean, let's just talk about SharePoint. SharePoint has been around for a while. You say, all right, okay, Doc Serial, bless your heart. You're trying hard up there. You know, one thing, I shared this a lot, but I want to share this again. When I first moved to this country, when they told me bless my heart, I thought, boy, people are so nice. Do you know what it means, Sarah? Do you know what that means?
Well, I guess it's already up.
It's actually a bad thing. So
Oh,
when somebody,
okay.
yeah, so when somebody says bless your heart, it's an excuse to be mean. I lived in Atlanta, and I see this little old lady, bless his heart, that kid's ugly. Anyway, so bless your heart, docs. You're trying hard up there, but SharePoint, whatever, that's been around forever, right? It didn't really change how we work. It's just, we just have a browser-based file share. That's essentially what it did. Right? Why? I mean, a lot of these tools you're talking about, SharePoint, Office, it's been there for a while. And the promise of making life better, communicating better, we're just not reaping it. I mean, I love this picture. My daughter just turned 3. I got her a present last Sunday. She turned 3. And I was quite disappointed being a parent because the first thing she did, she cracked open the box and started playing, didn't even read the manual. Is that normal for a 3-year-old? I think she's a disappointment. Anyway. And then she played with it, and she got frustrated because she didn't know what to do with it. After 10 minutes, she just dropped it down and then went back to her doll. You have crybabies like that?
No.
Dear users, we've just upgraded to 2013. Here you go. Go social. Have fun. Bless your heart. So what happens? It's too much. Can't figure it out. Let me just go back to my toy that I know that works, which is called email and Excel. You know, that's the #1 collaboration tool today. 1973 freaking technology. So why won't this fit?
Yeah, to add more data to what
Yeah.
you just said, it's just like you just said, like when you think about it, try to stop using Outlook, emails, IM for Slack at work. It can't work anymore. But when you think about SharePoint, honestly, like, and we know it, most of people don't have to use SharePoint to do their work. Some processes might be on SharePoint and mandatory, but most of the people, they don't have to use it. So they need to want to learn so we can drive adoption. And
you know, when you embark on this journey, and when you took that role to take care of adoption, one of the first things you did, you talked to a lot of companies
Right.
around the world. You traveled around the world. So can you share what you found out?
yeah, absolutely. So when we started to work on that like 6 months ago, from January to April, we conducted extensive research on SharePoint adoption. We organized focus groups. We organized individual interviews with successful customers to understand how they drive adoption, what's working well, what's not working, what are the SharePoint use cases, how the business is using it. Because we know that to make people want to learn something, they need to see the value in it. They need to see what's in it for them. And then you will make the effort to learn something new. Otherwise, just too busy at work. We also conducted an online survey across the United States, Japan, and Germany, 800 users. We found out that the majority of people were introduced to SharePoint through an organizational mandate, often led by IT, without any communication plan or training because of lack of time, lack of resources. I do migration and deployment, but I don't do adoption. And we also found out that just 1 out of 5 users from the survey, from our respondents, were actually trained on SharePoint. But as I said before, training is not the only thing that can drive adoption. To bring people to training, you first need to spark interest. They need to see what's the business value, how it's going to help them to do their job, and make the business successful.
And you raise a great point, because a lot of times when, especially IT, and again, I'm not bashing IT, you know, a lot of times when you think adoption, you equate it to training. Y'all with me? Forgive my heavy southern twang. I come from the deep south, Southeast Asia, Manila. But yeah, people just think training. Oh, you need power user, you need end user, you need site admin, you need dev, you need to call Marshall. Marshall here? Marshall's from Critical Path. Anyway. But the point is, as Cyril mentioned, a lot of it is so technology focused, which is relevant for IT, but to the business users, it's this stuff. You know, I was working with a customer a few weeks ago, and she said, "Docs, we've had SharePoint for 8 years, and nobody really cares for it." And in that same room, IT was there. He said, "No, but we have all these training. We have power user training, end user training." That person said, "Stop. I'm the VP of marketing. What the heck is power user training? What does that mean to me and my work?" Right? Mind was just blown. And that's so true. Because you send users to training, to 2-3 day training. Here's a list, here's the library, here's how you do workflow. They walk out and they check out. What does it mean to me? The goal, okay, is to drive sustainable adoption. If there's 2 words you walk out of here that you remember, is 2 words: sustainable adoption. Training certainly is part of it, but more importantly, how do you sustain this and grow this? The goals of sustainable adoption is 3-fold. Number 1 is you got to drive excitement, because SharePoint, unlike any other product, right, is a life-changing, organization-changing experience. We'll talk about some examples and all. That's the first intent. You got to get people excited right away. By sending them somewhere in their first experiences, here's a list, here's a library, Bueller. That doesn't get people excited. And past that, once they get excited, you don't make them excited for just being excited sake. It has to facilitate positive change. It could be as simple as, instead of this person receiving 100 emails every month of Excel files, putting it together for a report, everything so manual, and now with maybe a simple SharePoint site, some automated workflow, synchronization with Excel, a lot of manual processes have been cut, boom, 2 hours just been saved for that person's productivity doing that process. Positive change. And then last but not the least, you should be able to sustain this so that through time, not only you're empowering them, but you should set up a mechanism that they can not only help themselves, but they can help among peers as well. And IT can serve, and IT and some other folks, which we'll talk about, assist them so that in a way that you can grow and snowball maturity. Anything you'd like to add, Cyril? So what do you do? So what we'd like to do is talk about 4 steps. And these are practical steps that I've been working on this in the last, formally in the last 2 years. And there's a couple of things Cyril has been working on that we'll talk about as well. But here are the 4 steps that you can employ to drive sustainable adoption. Now, a lot of the concepts and examples we'll talk about apply for large organization-wide or even for your group, because I certainly know some of you here are just thinking about, well, what about my department, Docs? What about I just own a site collection? So we'll talk about that as well. So first things first, to drive sustainable adoption, before you even touch anything, I know a lot of you already have SharePoint or you're in the upgrade process, you have to drive enterprise momentum. What are we talking about? What we're looking at here is from a top-level approach going down, where essentially we want to drive awareness around decision makers on what this thing really is and the value it provides the organization. It could be the C-level folks, or it could be the department heads, but they have to understand the value of a technology like SharePoint that can provide to the organization. And I'm not saying you show the infamous You see the 6 pillars? I've seen a lot of those presentations. Am I hypnotizing now? No. Talk about their world. And how you do that is really look at a couple of things, right? So for example, we're working with a customer today, and this is one of the first things I'm working with them on, is educate the executives. And they're growing like crazy. Their business is doing good. They're opening offices around the world. But their challenge is just to coordinate, because everything has to be standardized and formalized. And like any other organization, they rely on email heavily. So we took that use case and say, okay, here are your pain points. Things like meetings, presentations, communications, right? Handling finances. This is how you do it today. What if you could do it this way? And oh, by the way, you already have these tools. So it could be as simple as that. And there's a lot more other examples that we'll look at in a second. But the first thing is you have to raise executive awareness and engagement at the decision maker check writer level. Is there anything you'd like to add here?
No, that's just critical, as you said, to have sponsorship. And also make sure that they understand this is what is the business value of SharePoint, the product where they invested in, so they can see the return on investment. Also make them use it and talk about it. People like to follow examples, and also when it comes to tech management, that helps a lot. Yeah,
when she talked about sponsorship, an example came up to mind. I shared this before, but this was way back, even before 2010. This was in 2007. It was January, winter time. I got a call from a CIO of a law firm in New York. He says, "Docs, I saw you at a breakfast briefing. You said SharePoint will help us, blah, blah, blah. So here's my situation. The economy's bad. Budget has been cut 30% for my team, IT, and we're expected to deliver the same set of services to our business. We're 800 people organization. Show me how SharePoint can help." That's a scary conversation. In fact, that's the kind of conversation a lot of us are uncomfortable to be involved in. But that's the kind of conversation you want to jump in. Say, all right, Mr. CIO, let's do this. Certainly SharePoint can help, but let's take a small slice of your world, of your business, and I'm going to prove to you SharePoint can help. So number one, take a very simple example that you can quickly prove the value. So I said, okay, you're a law firm. You guys do meetings, your lawyers, they do meetings. And of course, lawyers, they meet all the time. So I suspect when they meet, they fire up an Outlook invite, they put all the attachments there, and send the invite. Yes? Yes. Once the meeting is done, there's action items, right? Yeah. Everybody has to be copied because we're a law firm. Emails fly back and forth to all these attachments. Even has nothing to do with you. Yeah. How much does that cost? What do you mean, Docs? So first, do some little audit here. How big are people's email inboxes? So he did that. On the average, about 2 gig. Docs, what's a big deal? 2 gig. Storage is cheap. No. But let's talk about how much it costs. How much does it cost to back all that up? Because you have to be in compliance. Anybody have to be in compliance? SOX, HIPAA, right? Run DMC. And then how much is the resource that has to take care of that backup? What happens if you get audited by Ernst & Young? What's the cost of pulling that backup up for storing that? What's the cost if the CEO gets frustrated because he or she can't find stuff in the email? What's the cost of all that? And we were able to come up with some numbers, qualitatively and quantitatively. So, Mr. CIO, this is what we're going to do. We're going to run a pilot in the next 2 months. We're going to show you the value of SharePoint out of the box, that not only can you save money, but you make people happier. Okay, so the pilot was, we're going to introduce a new way, a better way to do meetings. And this was back in WSS3, remember those days? They didn't have to buy Enterprise. They just have Windows that, it's WSS. We're going to teach people that when they create a meeting invite, instead of sending the invite, there's a little button that says create meeting workspace, which unfortunately they took it away now. When they hit that, a SharePoint site will be provisioned for the meeting. You all follow me? Put the agenda, attachments, all that good stuff. It will train people. 30 minutes tops. This is a new way to do meetings. Oh, so it's easier. You can find stuff. But also, lawyers, 3 months after this, we're going to cut your email down to 500 meg. Okay? We're reduce the storage, which we need to save some money. So we did that exercise. On the 4th month, we went back and measured it. So Docs, initially there's a couple people who were up for it, but now they're actually happier because they can get to stuff. They're not sending attachments. They can do search. So we saw a lot of savings. But here's something we didn't even think of that we actually saved money. Coming to corporate, we had 3 T1 lines. T1, computer, internet, and we had to have that because this is an email attachment culture and it's sending to everybody culture. Imagine if you send 10 files to 10 people, it's 100 files that was sent. Y'all with me? Now that rarely happens, because what you send is just a link to a site with all the artifacts in it. We drop the other T1. Ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. So I'm sharing this story because the way you engage with these, while sometimes we tend to look at big things, oh, we can hook it up with SAP, CRM. No, don't go there. Start with a very low risk, compelling scenario that everything, it's very painful, but to them it's low risk. Oh, okay, we can do this little pilot, meetings, whatever. But they'll see that and then build upon that.
Yeah, just one thing that I'm thinking about, now that we're talking about it, I'm thinking about this as well. If you really think just about that, the value of social in the enterprise, one of the direct values is to create a connected organization. Think about this from a VP perspective, from an exec perspective, the value of getting feedback right from the field on announcements, products, what's going on in the organization, HR policies. At Microsoft, we rolled out Yammer, and we're becoming more and more social in the organization. And we have people talking to VP on the social network. And in the past, when VPs send announcements, I've never seen anyone, since I'm with Microsoft more than 6 years, replying to an email to say, hey, that's great, or I don't like it. While with social, we can do it, and we can connect this connection between fields and C-level or executives.
I actually feel special, Cyril, because I actually had an email back from Steve Ballmer one time. Maybe it wasn't him. Yeah, it just made me feel good. Okay.
That's another idea.
So here, I mean, when you want to think about business value, think about things that's going on in your organization. Either making more money, saving money, expediting innovation, or facilitating better engagement. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that's going on in your world that you could think about now and start working on. The key is, again, focus on solutions. Don't showcase the whiz-bang features. In fact, if you can prevent using the S word, even better, right? I mean, again, as technologists, we're so easy to, 2013, look at that news feed, cross-browser compatibility, apps. What? No. Think about, hey, Sally, I heard every month you have to have these Excel files that comes through your inbox and you got to extract it and put together a report. How much time are you spending? I spent 6 hours on that, Docs. What if I could tell you we can cut that down in half? Would that be helpful? Oh, yeah, but here's the deal. I don't want to learn anything new. As long as I can do it in Excel, I'll be happy. We can do that. As Cyril talked about, connected enterprise. It's not a one-size-fits-all. Don't keep thinking, you got to go to the browser. You got to go to SharePoint. When you send an email, don't send an attachment. Upload it to the site. Go to the site, click upload, grab the link, and stick it in your email. You think people will do that? No. That's why in this great ecosystem, there's a lot of products out there. Personally, like for me, I use Harmony in Outlook, where when I put an attachment, it uploads it to a library. Right? So think about solutions that people can take advantage of. Because what ends up happening, while this nice SharePoint car is in your enterprise, people look at it for 10 minutes, looks cool, a lot of features. Wait, I just learned how to ride a bike yesterday. I don't have time for this. I'm going to stick this in the garage and put all my files there. Now, so involve business stakeholders. And I know part of your research, there's a lot of conversations around this, right, Cyril?
Yeah, and while you were talking about solutions, I was thinking something else that's important is how you connect the features, how you build a solution for the business to help people save time and do their job. But you can also think about the scope of the solutions. Some will apply to just at an individual level. Some will apply at a team, department level, and some will apply at the entire organization level. But to drive adoption, especially like when we talk about social and collaboration, you need to engage individual first, and then you can move to a group, and then you can move to the entire organization. But every single individual needs to understand, to see the value for itself. So it's really like, in order to identify those solutions, it's critical that IT talk with you guys, business users, in order to connect the features, the new stuff in the new SharePoint to actual challenges in the business today.
And I guess Cyril will unveil what you're working on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So part of the thing is, okay, so when we talk about key business stakeholders and key business needs, some of us are thinking, well, Docs, I get you, we understand, but we're IT. How do we think about business use cases, right? And sometimes, we ask the users, what do you need? I don't know. There's a stalemate there. So how do we get the conversation going? And so why don't you talk about what I'm going to show here in a second.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So this is the first time that's ever announced. I think it'll go up tomorrow.
We announced it today, but we just announced it.
Okay, so this is Serial's, can I say Piezo Resistance?
Yeah, we've been working on that in the past months. So I'm pleased to announce discoversharepoint.com.
It's discoversharepoint.com. It's a full-blown adoption kit and use cases where, go ahead, I'll just go through it.
Thanks to the research we drove, we identified a set of 40 use cases. Some of them applicable to the entire organization. Some of them applicable to just some departments. We organize all those use cases to reduce the list to 18 because people actually are overwhelmed with SharePoint, and there is lots of information and lots of content and lots of things we can do. Can you go on the getting started?
Sure.
Cool, awesome. On the first page, store, sync, and share your content. We know that half of users on SharePoint do this on a daily basis. They just store documents, but they don't always know how to do co-authoring, how to deal with versioning, how they can actually benefit from the SharePoint platform in the backend. So here on this website, we just explain in simple words, non-technical contents, how people can benefit from SharePoint, and we enable share features to drive more organic adoption at the top of the page. We believe that once people see the value for themselves, they will start to change behaviors around them, the SharePoint champions. We learned a lot about this audience during the research as well. I think we'll talk about this later. But once people know how to use Skyward Pro, then we can start to talk about sites, how to build a site, how to make a team, a group of people contribute, collaborate on SharePoint. And then we can move to project management and tasks and timeline. But this is not about a feature. This is about what is the learning path, how you use the product, and how do you take advantage of the product. And then depending on the role, we have more specific scenarios to help people understand what's in it for them. People told us they don't want to learn everything about the product. They just want to know how it's going to help them in their job.
And what I love about this, while there's information, okay, how it's useful for sales, there's actual, so let me go back to the getting started, is there's actual videos. And these are short videos, but the point being is you can get the conversation going with a business.
Yeah.
Well, check this out. Watch this. Go ahead.
Right, yeah, and the idea here, again, it's don't look at this as a training. Don't look at it as a demo as well, because this is actually a real click-through. You can watch the video and do it. But the idea is to drive people to actual training where they can learn a lot more. But this is how you get started. This is how you spark interest, and this is how you do basic things with SharePoint. But then, of course, over time, we'll add more content. If you don't have hours to spend on the training, I think this is going to be great to use the product in a simple way, like most of people are doing it. Then over time, we'll continue to add content, update content, grow the platform to more products. Thank you for this.
Yeah. And apart from the website,
that's the new one. We're going to learn a lot. We really value your feedback. Let us know what you think, if this is helpful or not. I think it's helpful. On the homepage, you can get the use case catalog. It's a PDF booklet, and we'll ship some of them. This is just to something you can actually use internally. Share this with your colleagues. They will learn. They can read the book, I guarantee, in less than 15 minutes. It's super easy, but that gives people the big picture about what is SharePoint.
And again, I think this is really great because it's, you got the website, you got videos, you got this use case catalog, which is really nice. Look at this. It's not your typical Microsoft white paper,
People came in my office and they were like, "Is that the Yammer booklet?" This is SharePoint.
Yeah, and then, so other than the use case catalog, which is intended for your users, your business, to kind of get them excited, the other part is an adoption guide that's helpful for us as implementers. And okay.
That's weird. Can you just click on the link?
Yeah.
Did you click here?
Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right.
Okay.
I thought Macs were perfect, but anyway. but here.
My aura.
There you go. But this adoption guide is intended for you who's helping the users. That essentially provides. Let me scroll this. Guidance, right, on how you think about driving adoption, who you talk to, what are the things you have to consider, and a lot of the things we're talking about tonight is in this adoption guide intended for us to implement.
A guide that does help us to write along with the Yammer Customer Success Managers team. They have great experience in driving adoption, organic adoption within organizations.
So what do you think? Useful? Yeah. First year in HSPUG, right? Okay.
Just one thing I'm thinking, at the bottom of the site, there is also a link to the adoption kit. So you will find 3 easy steps it's on the footer.
It's a footer? Oh, yeah.
You don't have to open it, so I just want to point it out. You will find 3 easy steps, how to get started, share information, learn more, resources like posters, email templates, the vision video to generate the buzz within the organization and drive more people on the platform.
Okay, so, there it is. But we'll look at it in a second.
Yeah.
Good. So again, it's important upfront to drive momentum with key decision makers and key business stakeholders. So watch this video as another idea on how you do it.
He and I are working on putting together a presentation for our boss. Thanks to SharePoint 2013, we're able to easily centralize and manage all related artifacts and communications for this project. On a typical day, Alex would start working from home using his Mac. He would check his email from a browser and start work from there. Looks like Alex is reviewing the task for the project, and he has some questions for me about the project. Just by using the browser, he's able to instant message me using technologies like Link. One of the key benefits of SharePoint 2013 is a deep integration with existing tools that we already use, like Microsoft Office, smartphones, and even web-based technologies. So even if I am out and about, I'm still not at the office yet, I can easily respond to Alex on my phone and update my tasks. The beauty with SharePoint 2013 is that I can continue working with Alex once I get to the office. You just assign me a task on the project site, and look at what happens. It automatically shows up on my task list in Microsoft Outlook. Isn't that cool or what? Additionally, within Outlook, I can email the entire team directly using this neat feature called Site Mailbox. The Site Mailbox is available not only in Outlook, but it's the same Site Mailbox that the team can see and interact with directly on the project site. The Site Mailbox also provides visibility to all the documents I have in the project site. So what do you think? Are you excited? I am. This is the new way to work together with SharePoint 2013.
So again, what Cyril mentioned earlier is the idea of connectedness, right? So we don't just pitch SharePoint. BYOD, fine. You're using a Mac, that's all good, right? You like email, fine. You like Excel, it's okay. But you have to show how all this work together hand in hand. But then you have to be realistic as well. Because once you get them excited, things, again, that video, I shot that video, and anytime I show a customer, they go, wow. Again, their mind's blown. But now the problem is, if everybody's excited, there's only so much you can do, and there's only so many people you can help right away. Right? So how do you prioritize? How do you think about who should I help first and who should I help next? So what I wanted to show you quickly is I have a little spreadsheet that I use, and I know some of you have seen this already, but I'll get back to that. But I have a little spreadsheet that I use on how I prioritize business needs when I work with customers. So what we have here, so we talk about engaging with the business stakeholders. So this is an example of an 8,000 people organization that we work with. And on column A, what you see is the different departments: operations, HR, finance. So as we start talking to them and say, okay, what are you guys doing that's like, well, what's your business pain points? What's challenging? What's manual? Well, docs, we got this thing, we do SOP creation. We got to get that Excel file in the file share. We got to fill it out, email it. It's just so manual. And a lot of times, somebody forgets it in their email. Y'all follow me? Okay? And then as they describe that, in column C, I map it to what a lot of features at a high level that SharePoint can do. And this is just high level, right? Okay, so they need some repository, libraries, document management capabilities. They need that, maybe discussion boards, auditing, maybe workflow. So as you can see, as I talk to them, I'm taking down notes, what capability in SharePoint, other enterprise social tools that Microsoft can provide, and that goes through with every other department. Everybody with me? But then, as we convene, as we're almost done with the conversation, I asked them a very important question. I said, okay, our hour's up. If there's one thing that we can address right now, what would that be? Well, docs, if we can address this accident report review process and make it more automated, that would be huge, because we're talking about saving lives here, right? The number 2 priority would be emergency communications. This is important, because they know their business better than you do. You're there to facilitate and help them. Now, once this is done, we now want to assess and prioritize. Column A, we have the different departments, HR, operations, finance. And what we're seeing in column B, what we've just extracted, these are all the features that I've extracted based on their business needs. You follow me? Based on everything HR needs, so we'll need some lists, libraries, alerts, maybe Yammer, whatever. Why is this important? Huge. You know, a lot of times, customers ask me, Dubs, what should we roll out first? Should we turn on publishing features? Should we do my sites? I go, okay. But by doing it this way, if I ask, why are we doing some BI integration? Oh, because HR has all these reports that are manual that's spending too much time. If we can automate it, problem solved. It has to go back to a business need or purpose. If you cannot do that, then you got to stop what you're doing. Now, once we do all this, now we measure it. We need to prioritize it, what we're going to do first and next. So, for example, column C. What's the business priority? 1 to 5, 5 being the most important one. Lists and libraries would always be 5. Okay? What's the size and effort to do these for HR? So what these numbers mean, I have my own level of standardization, maybe different for your team. These are just based on the skill set of my team. 1, 20 hours, 2, 3-person weeks. So we put some metrics there so it's clear. Column E, what's the impact to the business? Well, it's high impact, 3. That means, you know, if we help HR improve their onboarding process, that means 3 people less every year hanging out the hallway because somebody forgot to create their logins on their first day of work. Anybody experience that? You go to work or new employees? That's a big disconnect. You have an onboarding process, new employees come in and they just hang out because IT forgot to create a login. It was stuck in somebody's email inbox. I kid you not, I was in DC, there was a government agency. They hired 50 people in the first month. They were hanging out the cafeteria because some onboarding process fell through. That was a long lunch for them. Now, another area of measurement you want to look at is how reusable are these things you're going to build or provide. Right? 3 means it's very reusable. So now you start thinking about, can we templatize these lists or libraries or workflows? Is it just for HR only? Can it be reusable throughout the organization? You want to measure these. And then lastly, you want to figure out the total business value of this specific feature to that group. 9 means it's high value. What we do here is we take the priority, impact, and reusability minus the effort. And why? Well, now we can make some good sense of what's the most important first, what's the second most important, etc., etc. And then we don't do this by ourselves. After we do this exercise, we bring in the business decision makers and say, hey, everyone, this is what SharePoint means. I know, boss, you told me, I'm the Windows admin, you told me, hey, Windows admin, roll out SharePoint in 3 weeks for 5,000 people on top of your day job. I don't think that's possible. Y'all with me? Is this helpful?
Yes.
But wait, there's more. You measure the business value so it's clear to them, right? Because you can now tie these back to their needs, but then you have to be realistic of how much IT can do and cannot do, right? You want to measure, okay, if we implement these lists for HR, for example, IT impact is a 1. A 1 maybe 20 hours or 10 hours because IT has to configure accounts, set up features, deploy solutions, whatever. What's the support impact? What's the training impact? Total IT impact is a 3. So HR, even if it's a 9, we can't do it in this fiscal year because a 3 means we have to hire another FTE to do that. But no, this is important. This will reduce people hanging out the hallway. We'll tell you what, HR, why don't you pony up and help us with this? You see, that's the other problem with IT. We're too shy to ask for money. A lot of times the business thinks SharePoint is an IT spend. It's true for the platform. IT's responsibility is to keep the platform, keep the lights on, but when we get to true business value, true solutions, they should have a skin in the game. And you shouldn't be ashamed to do that, to ask for money or resource. Now, I'm not saying it's money, maybe sending their resource to training or getting somebody part-time to help out, but whatever that may be, they have to be part of the game. Now, after you go through this conversation as an organization, now you look at all this, okay, what can we do? So notice based on whatever consensus you come up with, these different colors mean phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. This example was actually a 15-month rollout for this company. Now, did anything change? Of course, right? But now you have a baseline of what your roadmap looks like, what your priorities look like. And halfway, if somebody comes to you and says, I don't like how SharePoint looks, make it look like Ferrari.com. You don't get that, right? Now you have a way to say, is that a business priority? Let's look at our business pain points. I don't see anywhere here making it pretty as a pain point. Now, if it's truly a pain point because you're doing some marketing campaign that's public facing, then that's valid. Let's put it here and see what the impact looks like. Is that cool? So yeah, I use this and it gets everybody on the same page. So you have to be realistic and be able to prioritize.
I guess like an idea of also of prioritization is also, maybe you're going to talk about this more. But
go ahead.
Sorry. It's about simplifying the story too.
Absolutely.
This is something that we heard a lot and also that we identified as a best practice. Don't go with SharePoint all in at once. This is too much. People don't know where to get started. So this is really important to prioritize. So you find what is the lower hanging fruits, to reuse your expression. So people can start, and then you need to raise the confidence level of users in SharePoint because people get overwhelmed. So start small, stay focused, pick up the most important scenarios and use cases, and expand later. This is really important. This requires more effort at the beginning, but this is ensuring success in the future as well. So this is really important.
I have a confession next to you.
Yeah?
My name is not really Dux. It's actually Dux L. My father's Jor-El. My grandfather's Kal-El. I had a movie that came out last week, right? So, I thought I could do it all, but I failed. Right? I thought I can conquer SharePoint by myself. And that's the other part you have to realize and make sure your business understands that. While true, you have to keep the servers up, keep the platform up. You can't do it all because there's parts here that we're just not meant to do. Things like business engagement. How do you drive better adoption? How do you support, not only from a technical perspective, but how do you support your community of users? So it's important that IT works hand in hand with a business. And in a second, we'll talk more about who these business groups are. So that's the first step. You got to drive enterprise momentum. Get the business on the same page, make them get what all this means, prioritize, and build a roadmap, high-level roadmap, to say, here's what we're going to do. The next step is you develop a relevant, sustainable adoption plan. Okay? And when you do this, you have to engage the business to plan adoption. And the two core groups in the business that's very, very integral to this is your corporate communications team and HR. Everybody with me? Corporate communications is so used to doing activities like these, to spread communications, to drive change management. You know, people don't hate technology. People hate change. So the less painful you can make it, the better. So IT and the business has to work together to make this happen. Yeah. Identify existing resources you have. We're not saying that you get rid of, start fresh. No, I mean, a lot of times you have existing resources that are useful. Like, and more importantly, tap into what's there in the industry. Just like discoversharepoint.com, maximize that. In the previous version of SharePoint, anybody remember the old adoption tool, the iUseSharePoint.com? Yeah? That's downloadable. You can go to the Microsoft site and just do a search. You can download the whole kit. There's videos, there's templates. Have you used that before, Sam?
Yeah, this was great.
Yeah, it's very useful. So take advantage of those resources. Right? Yeah. And look at specific use cases. And identify champions. So I know you had a story about this. There's one of the customers who talked about champions. Yeah?
Right. So one of the reasons why we dropped the research was also to better understand who are the SharePoint champions, how we can reach out to them, how we can maximize those people that love SharePoint, that are business users, talk about it at work, train others around them. Because our goal is to drive viral adoption, organic adoption. Our goal is to try to change how IT thinks about also deploying SharePoint. It's not just top-down. It's not just, here you go, user, go figure it out, use SharePoint. It's all about empowering people, enabling people to learn from each other. In our research, we found that the most effective method to learn is actually from their peers for users. People love to learn from their peers. I was in a focus group. I was hidden behind the glass. And one of the users said that he doesn't trust Microsoft. Like, the people in our team, in our organization, they have the same challenges as her. And she trusts more people in our team to teach her how to use the product because they have the same challenges at work. They have the same challenges using the product. So our goal is to build these resources and enable champions to teach others around them easily, sharing resources, spread the word. And we found that we have a potential of 25% of the user base to become champion. We today have 17%, which is huge because those people are really helping others. And we have 25% of the respondents that are interested to become champions. All they need are resources to teach others and spread the word. The top reason for being a champion is because it's making your life easier when others use SharePoint. Instead of sending you documents via emails, not using the site as you spend hours to build in SharePoint, it's making your life easier when others use SharePoint. So this is a really natural behavior. And what we want to enable is targeting the champions, giving the resources they need so they can drive this organic adoption. Changing the way IT thinks so they can also build this internal community of champions within an organization and connect beginners with champions.
And if you're thinking, okay, who are the profile of these champions? So in my experience, one of the key groups that are, if you do it right, will be great champions, are a lot of the executive admins, right? A lot of the executive admin folks, it's funny, like one of the key solutions or business use case that they're really happy about is a conference room scheduling system. A lot of times they're like, hey, docs, this is just a pain. Everybody calls me up about who's booked that room or using that room. I say, what about if we have like a little website with different calendars for different conference room? People can book it themselves and you can approve it so they don't have to bug you on the phone. You can always go back and see, would that be helpful? Oh yeah, absolutely. Do little things like that. And once you get them going and excited, boy, I tell you, they'll be like that Jewish mom you never had. Go to the conference room website. Or something, right? But more importantly, as they get excited, they can, it's viral. And also the beauty about the executive admin group is they're also the gateway to executives. Right? The other aspect is, teams like your project managers, HR folks, they could be really good champions as long as they find the value.
Right. Out of the research, we did also some profiling, and no big news. I mean, champions most likely are the youngest generation Y. People that are tech savvy, also like to use the technology. We also found champions in every department, and that makes sense. This is that maps the curve of early adopters. We have 10%, 15% of early adopters worldwide. No matter who you are, what you do, you can be in the 15%. We also found influencers would be most likely within sales, marketing, finance departments. Maybe people that are more extroverts, that will go and talk to others and teach them why SharePoint is good for their job. But you do have champions within the organization, that's for sure.
Now, one great point Sariel brought up is the idea of how do you drive viral adoption? How do you make people help each other? Now, this is one of the key points you have to consider. In a typical environment, I've seen a lot, especially that have SharePoint. The support model is very hierarchical, IT-centric, right? In a lot of organizations, instead of the promise of SharePoint making IT's life easier, it's actually making it more burdensome. Because, if a user has a problem, fill in a ticket request. Hey, remember I bought you a round of Guinness last night? You gotta help me here? But that's how it works. But at the very least, have a model where they can help themselves, right? So provide a way where they can look at scenarios, look at help. The Discover SharePoint can help. There's third-party tools out there that can help. And then the next level up, maybe your site managers, where they have some ownership of that site, and part of their responsibility is to help their users. And then IT would address the higher level support. And the part where she's talking about, this piece I rarely see in an organization, but it's the idea of having a knowledge co-creation platform. What it is, you have to allow users to help each other, and that's why things like Yammer are so powerful, because information can be crowdsourced and they can learn from each other. So let me share a story of a customer I'm working with right now, and you'll find this helpful. So they're a large organization. I'm putting together a sustainable adoption program for them. So during the kickoff, during Step 1 Enterprise Momentum, the first thing we did is a one-day workshop on the business value SharePoint for 80 of their top business users. HR, legal, IT, finance, the whole 9 yards. So they went there, first thing, it's funny, when we walked in, the IT director walked in, everybody has a bad taste of SharePoint. And they're like, I know a lot of you are SharePoint haters, but hopefully docs can convert you into lovers after this, right? So I'm going to just talk about business value. And then after that, they're all excited and they're all stoked, but we didn't stop there. So I said, okay, once we're done, we're going to do homework. In the next 3 weeks, we're going to carry on this building enterprise momentum. Everybody would have homework, okay? And the homework will be very competitive because a lot of you are from different groups. So based on what you've seen and based on the existing resources IT has around SharePoint, think about these low-hanging pain points you have and go build something. And then throughout this 3-week program, we put together a SharePoint community site. If you're familiar with the new community feature, you can go there and ask questions, and I'll be there, or a team of people will be there to answer, or you can help each other. So we're kind of modeling that behavior. Y'all with me? And the end result of this exercise, by the way, we call this SharePoint Idol. By the end of this exercise, in mid-August, we're going to do a presentation. It's 3 different meetings, depending on their availability. They're just going to showcase what they did on a link meeting. But as they do that, we're going to record it. Because these are real solutions. Once recorded, we're going to put it back on that community portal and make people vote. You see what's going on here? And whoever wins will get some prize. I'm trying to convince them, and I think they're warming up to this idea. Whichever team wins will get a free day off.
There you go.
It sounds funny to you, but talk about motivation and excitement. In HR, that's what we're working with HR. But as you can see, it's a shift to how we traditionally do things. That sounds more exciting and fun than, hey, go to power user training. But what else did we do there? We just have videos now of organizational knowledge that I don't even know about that's there, so other people can say, oh, wow, we got that thing going on too. Maybe we can do that. Y'all with me? No, we don't do that. And this is so powerful. And you can set up a framework to do this, and technology allows for it. So develop contextual user training. Again, make it purposeful, make it short. So my rule of thumb, site manager training, no more than 3 hours. End user training, no more than 2 hours. That's it. Because it's not a one-time event. It has to be, training is just a showcase, get people excited and say, these are all the resources. Okay. The third step is you have to establish buy-in. So the first step is we gain momentum. Second step, we build this adoption plan. 3, we execute. We do it now organization-wide. So with this organization I'm working with, the plan is we're going to see what we learn from here, and we're going to roll it out throughout the company. And this is where corporate communications is helpful. So what I'm going to show you next is a video of a company that when they did the 2010 upgrade, see what they did internally to drive excitement and make people motivated to learn all this stuff.
Hi, I'm Heather. I manage Insight. Over the last couple of months, I've spoken to many of you about the old Insight, and the consensus is unanimous. It's time to toss out the old and welcome something new. Let's face it, the old Insight makes for a hair-pulling experience. It's really frustrating. There are 3 things I really don't like about the old Insight. 1, it's hard to find information. 2, when you navigate through the site, it's very easy to get lost. 3, when you're looking for people, you can't find them on the old Insight. So I'm really excited to tell you that a new Insight will be coming to a screen near you in November. Want a sneak peek? 3 of my colleagues will tell you more.
Hi, I'm Morgan. I'm an account manager at the Dunbar Community Branch.
And I'm Deacon. I'm a member service specialist at the MSC.
One of the new cool features is this dashboard. It's expandable, and you can use it to find all your tools, like PMP, job aids, calculators, general information that's going to help you serve our members better. And when you're done with it, click this little button, and it all goes away. And the rates dashboard works in the same way. It's the rates you use the most often. Another cool feature is the campaign carousel. It has all our member offers in one place, and it's not tucked away.
And if you're like me, you've probably created a whole slew of cheat sheets and workarounds just to avoid slogging through Insight. Now, I'm really excited about the way New Insight pulls together all this information on one page. Let me show you. Everything we need is all right here. We can easily click on all the PMP, job aids, calculators that we need to do our job well. And what's also great is now we can see who the subject matter expert is for this page.
I'm Jane from the communications team. Another great thing about the new Insight is that it's going to give us all an opportunity to have a voice. The old Insight is kind of like a one-way street. Information goes out, and that kind of stops. But that's all going to change with the new Insight. We're going two-way, baby. Now we'll actually be able to talk to each other and have a conversation. Instead of just being like a catalog of information, Insight will be a community. And there's several different ways that you can participate. You can leave a comment, create a story, or tag a page. We'll also get these cool things called My Sites. It's kind of like your own little piece of real estate online. You can do lots of different things on it. You can update your profile picture, you can tell us a little bit about yourself, and you can share some of your expertise. You can even update your status. There's also this nifty org chart that can really help you figure out the lay of the land. It can show you who reports to who and who's on which team. As you can see, I fit in right here, but eventually I'll probably be up here.
Well, we're all excited about the new Insight, and we hope you are too.
The new Insight will make it easier for us to find information, better serve our members, and connect with our colleagues. We'd like to know what you think, so drop us a line.
What do you guys think? Yeah. So, again, right, this company, what they did is they produced this internal infomercial. They pushed it out. And think about the goals. Did it drive excitement? Oh, yeah. Will it facilitate change? Yeah. Because they talk about, how you hate this, now it's going to be better. And they actually said in one part, well, we're going to do this, and if you need help, we're here. And then after that, what you didn't see is a training schedule and whatever. People are excited about this. So make it engaging. And some of you may be thinking, well, it might cost a lot of money. Well, no. I mean, you have a lot of the resources already, so you've got to reach out and find expertise. So when you actually deliver the training, make it engaging. If possible, instructor-led. I know in some cases it's not. You can bring a link, but you can record a lot of these stuff. But the key is, and this is, again, something we don't do, give homework. Right? If you pay... if you spend money to have people go training and come back, not expect anything, don't even do it. It's just a waste of money. Provide homework. And homework doesn't have to be boring or, just like what I'm doing with this other organization, make it fun, make them learn, but also whatever they're doing, this homework, make it something that's useful. The other part is, again, part of engagement. This is something you saw earlier. I'll show it to you in a second. Is when we do training, when we work with our customers, if it's relevant, we always embed this thing called SharePoint Jeopardy. So part of the idea is when we start training, so you gotta listen, because later I'm gonna play a game called SharePoint Jeopardy, and actually have the music going on too. But throughout the session, I don't do it at the end, but throughout the session there's breaks, so people have to listen. I put my Alex Trebek hat and say, let's play SharePoint Jeopardy. All right, so let's try this out. So let's start with the first category. SharePoint doesn't suck. Let's do 100. So SharePoint doesn't suck for 100. Here you go. This feature allows up to 4 people to edit a document at the same time. What is it?
Co-author.
Raise your hand.
Co-author.
This is Jeopardy.
What is co-authoring?
What is co-authoring? Let's give a big round of applause, let's see. And for doing that, here's the prize, right? Is that fun and engaging? Now, do you guys want this?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Check this out. It's just PowerPoint. All right. So I'll make all this available. It's gonna be $100 a download. Just kidding. But I'll work, and again, that costs money. Yeah, it costs some time for me. I have to figure out PowerPoint macros and all that. Cool. There's that music in the back, and it's fun. When people ask me, Docs, why do you do crazy stuff? Why don't you go up and dance and sing and all that? Well, yeah, this is the only way I can do it. I can't do it in my real life, but it's fun. People learn and they remember. Okay. The other point is you give home, you make it engaging, you give homework, do a show and tell. So it's not just, hey, go do your homework and, whatever, I trust you to do it. No. Say, put it together a program. Okay, you're going to do the homework in 3 weeks. These are the resources. I'm here. We'll have mentoring, office hours, and I expect in 3 weeks later, you're going to present it to something. And make it fun. Online, lunch and learn, SharePoint Idle, right? The next top SharePoint model, whatever. But make it engaging, but don't go so far off that's not relevant. Make it useful as well. Step 4 to drive sustainable adoption is so you get the decision makers and the business folks on board. You get enterprise momentum. You build a sustainable adoption plan. You execute it. You're not done. Again, how do you sustain all this? So you have to facilitate regular engagement. And what we mean by that is on a regular basis, create incentive programs. So another organization I've worked with and seen is, so they have a community, that knowledge co-creation. So we put incentives in there where if somebody answers more questions, they get more likes, right? In 2013, you can create badges and whatnot. Wouldn't it be cool if you're the mayor of that library? But you can put these incentives and they can claim rewards. So this actual organization, they do it monthly. They said, okay, if you in the community portal, whoever gets the most gets like a $25 gift card or something the next day. Or have the special parking spot, whatever that may be. So tie all these incentives in place. Again, provide some self-service FAQ. I use this a lot, and I recommend this. I don't know if you guys know Asif, SharePoint Videos. He has a wonderful product called Visual SP, and the reason why I love this and I recommend this is his product has embedded contextual help. Meaning, if a user is in the library, they click help, they have little pop-up videos of how-tos, and you can put your own stuff too, like how to upload it, because a lot of times the problem with users when they first learn this and they need help, what do? Because they're so used to like Word. In Word, there's a help tab and you can look for stuff. There's nothing really like that in SharePoint while they're in a specific list or library. So this tool does that, and there's a lot of tools out there. In 2010, Microsoft created Productivity Hub, so it serves the same purpose. So make sure you put that in place to facilitate engagement.
What was the name of the tool?
Visual SP. That was the one I showed you, and the Microsoft tool is called Productivity Hub. Go look for it, but it's a lot of how-tos, videos, and templates. Schedule regular adoption activities. Lunch and learns, be physical. Create community of users. A story I'd like to share. The U.S. State Department is one of the biggest SharePoint deployments in the world. They have their own SharePoint conference. internally. I was privileged during their first one. I keynoted. It was kind of cool. I was the only non-employee to go in, and they did it in this historical auditorium where Churchill spoke, where Hillary would speak, right? And they told me you can't bring your computer. It's secure. Just bring a thumb drive. Okay. So it's my turn to speak. They put the thumb drive in this old computer. My PowerPoint won't load. He asked, where did you build this deck in? I go, 2010. Oh, we've got PowerPoint 2003. And they're like, no worries. I said, does this thing have internet connection? I said, yeah. So they have IE6. So I went to my site. Because all my stuff is in my site library. Thanks to Office Web Apps, I did my presentation in the browser. Right? And they're like, wow, it actually works. Yeah. So have all those things, and again, work with corporate communications. Tip of the week, showcase solutions. Look at what HR did. Look at what finance did. Now, some of you may be wondering, how long do you do all this? How long does it really take for organizations to shift and change? Typically, it's 12 to 15 months. Right? This morning, I was spending time with one of the Yammer CSM leads, Mike Graffam, and he was saying in their experience and research, the change for people to shift, just really basic things, typically is 3-4 months. One of the first exercises, okay, so docs, how do you, for example, how do you introduce Yammer? What's the first thing you tell people to do? Like for my organization, one of the first things, very easy, I said, okay guys, if at any point in time you have an urge to email a bunch of people to start a conversation, just do it in our internal Yammer network. But that took a while. For my organization, we're still struggling with it. We're on month 3 now. There's still a couple of people that's like, so it takes time. Through this facilitation process, you have to continuously coach and mentor your champions, look for new champions, and regularly engage with site managers. So anything else you'd like to add, Shuriel, on facilitating engagement or any of these 4 steps?
No, that's good.
Good. So what do you guys think? Helpful?
Yes.
And again, there's no excuses, right? Don't say, oh, docs, that's all contoso. I didn't even use the word contoso. These are proven stuff. It's not easy, right? But one of the key things is really have to be intentional. What does it take to win? This is one of the personal stories I just recently started sharing. So this is a picture of the Philippine Dragon Boat rowing team. Anybody know Dragon Boat rowing? We did that. So if you're not familiar, it's a big sport in Asia and anywhere there's water. It's a canoe of 20, 21 people just racing. This is a picture back in the World Championship 1994 of the Philippine team. And I'm that guy. Okay. And I was cheering as soon as the Associated Press took that picture because I thought we won first. We actually won second. We lost to China by half of a second. But what am I trying to say here? So do you think we just woke up one day and decided, oh, next week we're going to go to the World Finals and compete? Did we do that? No. So ask me how long we prepared for this world competition. 4 months. Now, this 4 months preparation for this world competition, we were already doing this for a long time. Y'all with me? So what I clearly remember, and when we knew we were going to do this, our first month of training. Oh, by the way, how was our training? We trained from Monday to Friday, 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. in Manila Bay. We did that because we had our day job. This is, I'm not like Michael Jordan, right? I still have to pay my bills. But this is what we're passionate about. But in the first month we did this, I was quite frustrated with our coach because we never even jumped on the boat. We have a nice new fiberglass boat. All we did was run in calisthenics, build up our cardio. I said, Coach, why? Well, we got to build up your cardio. So we have a nice boat. Baby steps. So jump on the boat and start rowing like crazy. And then the second month we did this, and I'm so hung up on our nice fiberglass boat. And I remember the coach telling me, Doc, the boat is great. He said, it's not about the boat. It's about the destination. And then the other part is on month 3, I can never forget this. So I'm the steersman. My job is to keep the boat straight. Because anytime it veers away, that may cost 1, 2, 3 seconds. And on month 3, we finished training. I docked it, so part of my job is to park the boat. When I came off the boat, I didn't know in the water there's a nail sticking, and it went through my foot. Did I stop? No. Was it painful? Yes. Don't get discouraged, because as you drive this sustainable adoption, it's not going to be all rosy. It's going to be painful. You're going to step on nails more than once. You got to press on, right? And then we went to Hong Kong to do this competition. Never in my life I felt so accomplished, excited as we passed that finish line with the Philippine flag moving. I'm getting goosebumps every time I tell this. It's about the destination. SharePoint doesn't matter, business matters. So with that, thanks. Hopefully that was helpful for everyone. Yes, sir, question?
Can you send out that Excel file with the PowerPoint different?
Yeah, so everything, first of all, everything that you saw, this whole session was recorded, so you get a video of this presentation. It's like a webinar video. All the templates, checklists, everything I showed you, you all will get a copy of it as well. And I'll throw in a free ebook copy of SharePoint for Project Management, the book that I wrote, okay?